Hello everyone, it is Tim here from Robot Butt with another recommendation. Still doing these recommendations, still haven't gotten a haircut, still keeping to the house. I was trying to think of something to do for today, and there has been a movie that I watched probably about a month or so ago that I was really into. And I've been keeping in my back pocket, but kind of like House of Leaves from however long ago, I was going back and forth over whether or not it was something I wanted to recommend, because it's something that, for as much as I really dug it, I can see how it's definitely not going to be everyone's cup of tea. But I decided to just throw something weird at you guys for anyone who's looking for something weird and different and obscure at this point. Most of what I've been recommending has been things that are fairly well known. This is one that, at least at this point, is still flying mostly under the radar, so I get to be the cool hipster guy who recommends something you've never heard of before. Or maybe you have and you can out-hipster me. Anyway, the film is called Antrum, the deadliest film ever made. And it is a horror movie, but it is definitely more along the lines of, a Blair Witch Project or Midsommar, which are movies that I love, but a lot of people rag on them for not actually being scary. This is very much in keeping of that, where it's less about outright scares and jump scares and gore and ghosts and stuff like that, and more about suggestion and just a general sense of unease and unsettling, and just kind of like, what the hell is actually going on here? So if you're interested in that kind of stuff and just kind of like a prolonged sense of then maybe this is going to be something you find interesting. The movie itself is structured very weird, very, very weirdly. Ostensibly, the structure, the format is documentary. The premise of the film is that there is a movie called Antrum that is cursed, and anytime it's been shown in theaters or people have watched it, there has been death and tragedy that befalls it. So the first part of the movie is just kind of a little bit of narrative background on this cursed film. But then the bulk of the movie is them essentially showing you what is purported to be the only remaining print of this cursed movie. Now, does this movie really exist? No, but it's fun to pretend for the sake of enjoying the movie. It is a mockumentary as opposed to an actual documentary, which is kind of given away when you get to the credits at the end of the movie, but it's fun to play along. And the movie itself, the Antrum movie itself within this movie, I think is very, very well done in terms of presenting a cursed film. That movie is centered around a pair of siblings whose dog has recently died, and the younger sibling is led to believe that the dog is in hell. So they are going into the woods. His older sister has this book that she got from a classmate that has all these occult rituals and spells. So they're going to go into this forest where they can dig a hole to hell and rescue the dog. And as they proceed to dig, things get weirder and weirder and weirder in the forest. And what I like about it is it's presented as, narratively, it's presented as just kind of like a dark fairy tale, and as, in a basic structure, that's kind of how it plays out. It's very fairy tale kind of dream logic. But in addition to the actual narrative beats and things getting weirder and weirder, the movie itself, just like the editing and the sound and the just post-production of this movie itself is very weird and unsettling, with images and messages that seem to be embedded in the film itself, weird cuts, weird dubs, lighting is. It really does do a good job of kind of like making you subconsciously feel like you are watching something that you probably shouldn't be watching. And the way as the Antrum movie within the movie progresses, it gets darker and weirder, and until it gets to a very jarring ending and unending that I think is incredibly effective at just kind of bringing home like a sense of, oh fuck, I watched something that maybe shouldn't have been viewed. Kind of like the original Blair Witch Project, where especially back when it first came out and it wasn't necessarily readily known that it was fake, there was that question of, did I just watch a snuff film? And there's kind of a similar feeling at the end of Antrum. And then, over the end credits and stuff like that, you get a little bit more of that documentary flavor. But this is something that is still kind of, I heard about it because, I love horror movies. I've recommended a number of horror stuff on this already, but good, bad, like I just eat that stuff up. And this came up in an article as I was just perusing horror stuff. And it's gained a little bit of notoriety because of COVID. People have been looking for things to watch, and things that might not have gotten a lot of traction before, now they are kind of bubbling up a little bit. Antrum, Deadliest Movie Ever Made, is currently available to stream free on Amazon Prime. Otherwise, you can rent it from Amazon, YouTube, and stuff like that, normal digital purchasing. But if you have Amazon Prime, it is free to stream. And if you like that kind of weird horror where it's not so much about the gore and the in-your-face stuff, but more about just like feeling unsettled and unsure of what's going on in the movie, what's going on around you, I do highly recommend it. It's starting to get a bit of a cult following. I could see this becoming a cult fixture in the coming years. So I loved it. Like I said at the beginning, it's definitely one that I can see being very divisive. I mean, horror is, just like comedy, it's very subjective. So there's a lot of it's great or it's garbage to a lot of people. It's sometimes tough to find that middle ground, but I was super into it. If you like, being adventurous and experimental with your movies and your media, I think this is well worth giving it a shot. And especially if you're big on horror and a horror aficionado, this is, something that you can kind of put under your belt to beef up horror credibility. But Antrum, Deadliest Film Ever Made, check it out if you dare. If you are brave enough to view the cursed film. But otherwise, we will be back Thursday at 5 with something else to recommend. In the meantime, keep staying safe. Things are continuing to be bad. So make sure that you're wearing masks if you are having to go outside. Stay home and stay safe as much as possible. We want to, the only way to get through this is for us to care about everyone. So see you next time.